it kind of helped them advance. I mean, do you think this was a conspiracy?
Gotta go with Jacob Butter. Gotta go lefty.
No, we're talking about the players. That's tournament champion to the podcast.
There he is, right there.
Oh, he doesn't even know how to watch. Go to youtube.com and search Down Lane Podcast.
What's up, bowlers? Welcome to Down Lane Podcast. We are streaming live from the lab at Town & Country Lanes. I'm your host, Kyle Haines, and with me is the assistant to the host, Anthony Scaccia. Oh, there he is. What's up, Austin? How's it going tonight?
Hello, friend.
So I apologize in advance for my raspy and
Makes two of us,
stuffy
bud.
voice. Just finally got over a cold today from yesterday. No, maybe it was 2 days ago. It all mixes together.
It's all a blur when you're sick.
But yeah, we got a lot to talk about. Before we do, don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell to get alerts
I'm
from
here.
the channel. Thanks. You can email us at downlanepod@gmail.com. You can go to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever it's called. And if you can't watch live, you can always watch again on YouTube or via your favorite podcast service. And when you're there, give us a 5-star review.
Man, I need another bag of those.
What was the bag of choice tonight?
They were pretzels.
What
Just plain
flavor?
old pretzels.
Seasoned pretzels.
All right.
I'm a honey twist kind of guy.
The cinnamon sugar of that brand is pretty good.
They're not bad. Yeah, I've tried every one. Honey mustard's pretty all right. The seasoned one's pretty good. Cinnamon sugar's pretty good.
Ritz makes them now too.
Everybody's trying to copy. I've seen
I
some
know.
of Stewart's are like ranch, zesty ranch.
Gross.
Sounds delicious, by the way. Unless you're Kyle Haines, because he's a freak.
Children like ranch. That's plain and simple.
I do not like ranch flavored snacks.
Blue cheese is where it's at. Ranch is for children.
I don't
Okay, if
like.
you like to eat mold, that's cool.
Are we talking like on wings?
On anything.
On anything, because ranch doesn't exist in my world.
No, it does. It's
I use
way
neither. So
You're disgusting.
All right. So
You didn't even know what to say.
we are going to talk about the Team USA trials briefly. Just talk about who's on the team. And then
I bet you it's all the people they picked, not from the trials, besides one guy.
there are a few people from
Wow,
the
they made-
trials.
Oh, that's cool.
And then
But
we'll
doesn't
talk.
mean they actually make the team, Kyle.
Yes.
I was thinking they go to
do
practice.
Right. Do they actually get to go to the
Yeah,
tournaments?
we don't need you anymore.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right, Mike. So we're also going to talk about the PBA Elite League because they all announced their teams last week. So we didn't get a chance to talk about that, but we'll briefly run down them. Talk about some of the updates in the rules and how the tournament's going to operate that I found interesting. So we can touch on that too. Before
You
all
find
that,
everything interesting.
I do find it interesting.
What's your gripe now?
I don't have a gripe.
What's your anger?
My anger is, how was your week this week?
It's great.
What is your anger?
No such thing. Yeah. I've been testing out that level.
Mm.
I got vids. See it?
What's wrong with you today?
I mean,
Tell us about it. Tell us about the level.
well,
Is it
I got
all the
vids. You want me
hype?
to send a cow?
Is it all the hype that everyone says?
I mean, it's a round ball.
Well, Austin can find them on Instagram.
Nah, I got 2 new vids.
Oh, well, too much right now. You should have thought about that before the show.
Well, I forgot I had them on here.
Okay.
just
anyway.
find Anthony on Instagram. You'll see it.
So tell us about the ball.
Oh, okay. Well, like the specs and stuff, or what I saw with it.
Yeah, what you saw with it. I don't give a crap about the specs. Specs are a waste of time.
So I did sand it down to 500.
Immediately.
No.
No, I used that at 1,000 for a bit, and then I sanded at 500, and we bowled on a. I mean, I don't think I oiled enough lanes last night, so they weren't super tricky. But we oiled up 41 feet, 2024 USA Team Trials. I don't remember what day it was. It was 41 feet. This is like 3 point. It's like 4 to 1,
Mm-hmm.
but it's 41 feet. Something a little bit
What
flatter.
pair were you on?
3 and 4. They were wide open.
House shot.
They bowled 20 games last night.
Oh my god.
Wow.
So, yeah, I ended up sanding it to 500, and I took that IQ red ball that I used at the tournament club the other day.
Mm-hmm.
I sanded that one to 500 because I wanted to comparison between those 2 first. And so we threw it, and yeah, we got a comparison now. Just kidding. I will tell you about the comparison. I just wanted to see what you would say.
Well, I was going to say, so your hand's feeling okay? You can throw the ball all right?
Well, it's all right. It hurts a little bit, but it's easy to throw it, but it's like the bending is the hurting part. But so yeah,
I haven't been able to talk to you in the last couple of days, so I wasn't sure if everything was okay.
I'm fine. Is it because you couldn't talk? Anyways, so the level is I definitely don't need it at 500 or this one specifically. Because
Did you have the right shot on it to test,
it hooks early,
or was that a low volume pattern?
No, it was like 28 mils. It was. I mean, I can show you the video because I have it here.
Yeah, that's not going to help.
I did cross over. I did have a crossover shot. I lined up with the red ball. I think I was standing at like, the left dot, and
Were you looking at 3?
no, I actually was hooking it a little bit because they were kind of hooky last night. Whatever I put, I don't even know what happened. I don't know if it really didn't oil grade, or I only did 3 lanes, so it makes sense that it wasn't like super tight or super tricky. And then again, it was 4-1. But regardless, I did throw it. I could shape it pretty well, the red ball at least. And I lined up with it, threw about a double, had my nephew take a few shots at me. The IQ urethane, Nick, for those asking, the IQ 78. And I threw that ball, lined up with it, threw a double. Mid lane was hooking quite a bit right off the rip at 500. Especially with the urethane, obviously. So then I expected to see a little bit more length with the new level. I don't think I got more length. I think I got very similar reaction in the same part of the lane. So pretty early. The only thing is that I kind of had like Zen U kind of like continuation down lane. So I had like pretty upfront hook. Like it slowed down. Like there was no doubt. But it actually continued down the lane. If you want to compare it to a blue hammer, which I have thrown those with a very similar layout, actually. So I was a little bit surprised. I thought this ball was completely different than the blue hammer. I thought the blue hammer was more like urethane, where it shined up and it kind of lost its kind of luster. It kind of lost its movement. It kind of was more urethane-y in terms of the reaction we got. I think this ball does have the urethane like slowdown where it is early and smooth. I don't think it's too whippy. I think it's pretty smooth. But the continuation is at another level versus the blue hammer. I mean, you're getting more resin like or reactive like continuation with that early smooth roll where it just keeps going. You know when you throw the first one and it just hooks like 20 boards. I mean, I'm not saying that it's going to hook 20 boards. Depends on how you drill it. But I see you kind of get that kind of motion. You're getting that first shot vibe. I don't like to use that word vibe because that was weird, but I get that first shot feel out of it. But in all seriousness, I was a little bit surprised at how early it hooked. Both of them had fresh 500 on it. So I threw the first one and it hooked at I was like, whoa. I was like, I got to throw at least 2 more. And it did it another 2 times. So the absorption rate is way higher on it than a blue hammer as well. So if you're looking at the comparisons there, the blue hammer is going to be more traditional urethane-like, but the level is going to be more reactive-like. But I think if you're looking for something that hooks earlier and has that resin continuation that levels it, if you want something that's going to be kind of like purpley, but more down lane, like more true reactive, I think the blue hammer is better. So they're definitely going to have their perks, but this one was drilled 4 by 3/4.
So you
want me to grab it? It's right next to me.
Nah, that's right. What I was thinking of while you were talking is it sounds like the urethane is traditionally will roll up early, go straighter, which sometimes, or at least with urethane,
which is what you want.
A lot of times it's creating a ton of not pin action, but pin carry.
This is the red one, Kyle.
And then with the black ball, it sounds like perhaps the level, I should say, that it continues a lot more. So you may not get that wall job carry that the urethane offers most of the time.
Yeah. And here's the level from the same location, Kyle.
Yeah, we're watching it, and that did hook way early.
Did it?
Yeah, no,
But
it hooks early.
It's not. It's weird. It's not urethane. So we're watching a video off screen, but it's not like so. The red ball rolls early, but it goes straight
Forward.
This thing
ball,
rolls early
yes.
and then
It has-
keeps hooking.
It has reactive continuation, like you're throwing the first shot
Because
with urethane.
that's opposite of what they were saying. They're like, oh look, we can play first, second, third, fourth arrow with this thing.
I think it depends
but
on
if you're
your,
on a
your
short
level of
pattern,
surface.
If you're on
Yeah,
a
at
short
that point,
pattern
it's
and
gotta
it's
be
hooking that
surface
early.
related.
41 feet.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm saying if you are on a short pattern and it's hooking that early,
It's probably going to be pretty forward, I would think. It's got to lose its energy.
at some point.
So my thought process was, I like how it rolls, but I think it is drilled so strong. Like it's literally 4 by 3/4. I mean, it's almost pin on my vertical axis line. So it's really going to rev up and go. I think I would actually drill it with a little bit of a longer pin buffer or longer VAL angle to have a longer hook zone so it doesn't spin up as quick. Because you can see it spins up pretty quick.
Yeah.
And if I lengthen it out a little bit, it'll be a little bit longer. PSB Anita said that he watched the video. They did put one out on the IQ Tour, the pitch black and the level. And the level was literally in between both. And I watched my ball reaction here and his ball reaction on what he was thrown on. And he had an inch and 3/4 pin buffer or VAL, which is basically like a 30-degree drill angle. And my drill angle is 8. This one, Alex Hoskins was using was 35, so it's a little weaker, or 30. So it's gonna have a little bit of a longer hook shape. It doesn't rev up in the dry as much. So I think for a guy like me, I could have this one where I don't need as much surface. I can probably use this ball. I was thinking about it. I can probably use this ball at 1,000.
Well, I was going to say if you left
I don't
this
need
at,
500.
if you left it at box.
Yeah, it comes at 1,000. I
What,
wanted to try them both at 500 because I never use urethane.
But when you threw it at 1,000, you did throw it at 1,000. You didn't just go right to 500. Right?
No, I threw it in league at 1,000.
Yeah.
I
So
threw it a few.
did
I didn't
it still
throw
rev
it
up
here at
as
1,000.
early?
No, definitely not. No.
Yeah, I'm looking at the red ball again. It's so much smoother. Like it makes that arc shape rather than in your new layout, by the way, or whatever you did to that, way better than your original red ball.
Yeah, the original one was a little finicky. I drilled 3 of these. This one is like pin in the ring finger, basically. The other one was tall and up. And then I have a second one that's like all the others. And then this one, I figured I needed even weaker. So I brought the pin even farther down because of the diff and the RG and the differential. I just wanted to show you that so you can see. But it does hook like a urethane in the front. Like it gets going in the front.
Right. But then it keeps going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, it depends on who you are. I mean, personally, for the left side of the lane, I think that this ball's going to be fantastic. I think it just needs to be a little bit more tweaked. Obviously, this was very close to my new blue hammer, which is why I drilled it this way, because I expected more new blue hammer like feel, and I don't get it with it. I don't get
new blue is
hammer.
definitely cleaner though.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't get the new blue, that feeling where it was a little cleaner, a little whippier. I see this ball super early, but it's got that down lane, it just keeps going. It doesn't really quit.
Right.
And it was on 41 feet, 20 mils. So it's not like it's a slouch of a pattern either. It's pretty decent. Sorry to rant about it, but this is like, they've got like 12 videos on this ball.
Yeah.
And
it's been a huge
like marketing thing.
Yeah.
Like they want this ball to be it. I don't particularly see, we'll have the review up hopefully pretty soon. Me and Matt, I think we're going to film tomorrow, but I don't think the average Joe will drill this unless you have a super high rev rate for the house shot. But I think for guys who are really trying to control a mid lane and they want something really smooth, I think this is really the answer. I think the new blue was okay. I think the Rattler and you by Radical, I think that is closer to the level, but I still think that the level is more continuous than the Rattler and you from what I've seen. So
that's the teal one.
Yeah. That Tom Stevens throws.
Yes. Every match.
Every pattern. But that's the thing is, I mean, how much hook do you really need on all these patterns we see?
Yeah.
And if I'm throwing urethane a lot of the time, Kyle should drill him for the double burn. No, we already drilled him a mix. We've already got that ready.
The way that ball just looked, I don't even know if I could touch it without it going too far left or burning up and going dead forward.
And I don't know, did I talk about the level last week? Because I don't think I have it? No? Okay. Well, anyways, by the way, Zen 25, gross. That ball is pretty good. Anyways, the level doesn't shine up. Me and my brother were looking at it. It was a little shiny at the end of league night. I did throw it for 3 games, shot 740 out of the box with it. It was pretty good. But it doesn't really shine up that much. I mean, I bowled a game with it, and it's next to me. Let me grab it.
Sure.
I know you don't care, Kyle.
That's okay. It's okay.
I mean, this is after like a game and a half.
Man, your track is low.
Yeah, I got a low track.
Oof.
Made it-
Spin biscuit.
I don't give a crap. You think I care? Off topic, can the Steelers pull off the upset? Absolutely not. Bet the Ravens with your life savings.
Flowers is out.
I don't care who's out. The Steelers, listen, their quarterback situation, they might as well call me up. All right. Now I can still sling the rock better than those guys can. I mean, Jesus. I might be more mobile than Russell Fields, too. I might not be as fast as I'm more mobile than Russell Wilson. Not as fast as Justin Fields, but I can surely throw the ball better than that Justin Fields guy. Might not be able to throw it better than Russell Wilson, but at least I can move a little bit and, shake and bake. You know what I'm saying? The other guys, they're terrible. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know, Kyle. It's pretty dull still. I don't know if you can see on camera because we got the lights on it. But it looks
No,
after,
shooting on
You
camera,
can see
but
how dull it is,
it's
though.
still
You
dull.
can see the scuff marks.
after a game and a half, yeah, you can still see the scuff marks on it. Usually with urethane, it's pretty gone right away. So I know it's been marketing, and they're marketing pretty heavy. I think this is going to be pretty good for the left. Matt, make sure you drill 2 more.
Here's a question, not to keep dragging this out.
I know we are talking about it, but it is an interesting new piece of equipment.
Storm always does these videos where is that Alex the sitting
Hoskins,
behind the
he's
table? Yeah.
Basically, the
And just
designer
like
of them.
It's almost too much information dumping because at some point I'm like, I'm over it. I don't even care. Like,
Yeah, he
I need to see what the ball does to.
Yeah, I will
He did
agree.
that. And they did it without
no.
pins.
I don't want-
I need to see the ball roll down the lane.
The
not
numbers,
on a video.
the numbers don't matter to me.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. I
Nah,
need to see it.
I mean, he did talk quite a bit about it, especially with the pitch black and IQ. If you've thrown those balls.
Now that video I missed. I get all of their videos, but that one I never saw.
Yeah.
The one with the
just came out, I think, like a day or two ago. Very good. They did a great job with it, showing where this ball fits, and they kind of explained what it was. Too. Like they're like, don't drill this ball weak. You're gonna get this ball and you're gonna drill it weak. It's gonna be a piece of garbage.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't say that, but they kind of were like, listen, this ball is intended for you to drill a little stronger, so that way it revs up, so that way it's a little closer
And
to
they
the
also said to
urethane.
get out of urethane.
They said it. That's what they said in the video. They said it's for the guys who get out of it because you have to bridge the gap. They said, right?
Mhm.
And that's the hardest part, even for lefties. If you ever get out of urethane, which normally I don't, but I do sometimes, and I don't know why I do it.
Out of urethane.
But-
That's funny.
For the righties, if you do start with urethane, like at nationals, how do you come out of urethane?
Yeah.
IQ Tour is usually pretty good. I know Fazone uses an IQ Tour out of urethane. So it does give you a little bit more of a bridge ball where the ball kind of picks up like urethane with a little bit more continuation. But I would, if I had to drill another one, which I'm probably going to drill 2 more, I'll probably do something with a little bit of a lower pin because the pin on mine's pretty tall. We'll probably go a little bit lower, and then we'll leave the last one for a wild card just to see how both roll. Because I think I just needed to smoothen out just a little bit if I really want to get out of it. I think this ball can be used with less surface, but I'd rather crush it with surface, like 360, and just have the ball kind of wobble down lane.
Yeah, but it doesn't wobble.
It might if I have a weaker layout in it.
Oh, okay, you're right.
Because that one is really strong. 4 by 3/4. I mean, that's usually with the new blue hammers I did 4 by 1 or 3.5. 3.5 by 1. So even stronger. Imagine if I drilled that with another 1/2 inch, it'd rev up earlier.
Right.
Wild.
Yeah.
So I don't think I need to make it any stronger than it is. It's actually got to go the opposite direction to find it a little bit more usable. But sorry that I ranted, but it's definitely an interesting piece. I mean, I should have sent Austin the video because we've definitely had time
Yeah,
to see
imagine
it.
Would
if you
you,
prepared for the show
Would you say it leveled the pins?
or the playing field?
I did shoot 260 with it on the shot yesterday, and it did throw the pins around pretty good.
All right.
Did it level the playing field? No, it's not Purple Hammer. It's definitely not. It's got way too much continuation. It's got way too much reactive to be Purple Hammer. And to be honest with you, I don't think. I mean, maybe the level was a play on trying to level the playing field, but I don't really think it was. I don't really know, but it's not really gonna. For the lefties, it'll be good.
Yeah, I mean,
I honestly think on anything hard, this ball will be good because it's going to be that really smooth, predictable ball you can throw in almost anything. Like, I
But,
think that's the
like,
difference.
let's talk about the lefties always using urethane. Still, the Storm lefties are going to be kind of getting beat up by
the Black Hammer.
Black Hammer.
I'll be honest with you. The red, I hate to say it, but that red ball's grown on me a little bit.
Right, but how is it done on the
First
on
of
the
all,
show?
let's let's be honest here. The lefties were throwing a bone at the World Series of Bowling because they had zero luck all last year. So let's negate the lefties because
I'm just saying
they were
like,
horrible. They didn't really have anything last year.
and I don't really remember that much urethane on the right side last year.
The lefties,
but it always blows up quick.
They always get out of it. They always have to get out of it. I don't know. I think the red ball might not be the answer, but I think here's the way I look at it too: is that as we've been drilling, I've drilled 3 of them. Matt's drilled a few, and obviously we chit chat because we're both lefties. I think that the red ball is going to be a little bit better suited pinned down or weaker layouts because the core is so strong.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that out of the gate they put the IQ Tour cover or core in it because the urethane is harder. So they wanted it to rev up like the 72s, but urethane already hooks early. So I think there needed to be a little bit of a higher RG or slight modification with the differential being higher. Like a Zen U, like that core and that 78U might be better because it's a little bit weaker. But I think guys are learning now that you got to drill the red ball a little weaker to get it to continue down lane. Now it's not perfect, but it has grown on me. It has jumped into the stable of urethane bowling balls. So we've got 2 Zen U's, a pitch black, a red ball. I have another red ball as well. So we've got about 5 urethanes.
So ridiculous.
And now we've got, that's what I use. It's not my fault they oil the lanes this way.
Listen, man, if it works, stick with it.
I get it.
I mean, I know I haven't been doing the best, but I should have cashed on New Year's Day. That was a blunder on my part. I bowled absolutely.
We don't need to revisit the past.
Right. But that was my fault. Like that was not me bowling bad with. It wasn't the equipment's fault. It was.
Right.
I read the lane wrong. I didn't do the proper thing. We bowled pretty well at Diggers doubles. I think that's the only 2 things I've bowled
With the red ball.
No, I used the Zen U.
Oh.
I used the red ball this weekend at the tournament club.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah, tournament club.
Where Kyle won. I actually used that, and it looked pretty good. It looked pretty good. I had
watching.
no practice. So
Here we
lining
go
up was a little
again.
tricky.
No practice.
I had like 2 or 3 shots, but it went 199, 210, 220, 220. I could have had 240, 250 in there. I made some blunders of a shot at, shot making then was a problem, but we're starting to really figure out these urethanes, and I kind of like having about 6 of them in the bag. Now we got a level, and we're gonna add 2 more levels in there, probably at some point.
Just forget about all the other stuff. Just leave it all at home.
I won't leave it at home, but it'll be in the car maybe.
2 resin. Just 2. You don't need more than 2.
First of all, the Zen. I mean, if urethane doesn't work and I need a ball to get down lane and corner, that Zen is phenomenal. Like the AI is a lot more rounded than the Zen. The Zen is like gross. It hits a spot, and I mean, I threw it in league, and my cousin saw it, and he's like, "What was that?" And I was like, "Dude, that ball just freaking." I think I threw that to the gutter, and it hooked
And that's
back.
the new Zen you're talking about?
Yeah, it was.
Zen
It was
25.
Yeah, it was good. But anyways, I digress because it's almost 7:30. The level is going to give you a smooth and controllable piece, like they've been talking about. I think once people dial this ball in, I think it's going to be seen a little bit more widely used. Because when you get to the harder stuff, you need that smooth controllability. I think this kind of gives you a nice piece of equipment to use.
I appreciate you letting me save my voice. So tournament club was this weekend.
Yeah, you were messed up this week.
We had a
60.
amazing
About
turnout.
55. About 55. I think it was right
our,
around 53-ish.
Member guest doubles.
Yeah.
So we had about 30.
I think we had 30 members, and no. We had 19 doubles teams, and we had about 34 members.
Nice.
So it was fantastic.
Yeah.
We bowled on
PBA McEwen.
41 feet. I think it was about
26 something. 26
yeah.
mils.
I think it was about 5-1, right?
Yeah,
5.5, 6 to 1?
5. We'll say 5.5.
Yeah. A nice little pattern, a little bit tougher, but not crazy. And I will say, there was a great
for
mixture of
normal
guys.
club guys, it was a little easier, but we always make it a little easier.
You got the guests.
So because we have the guests that don't get to bowl on this very much.
Yeah.
So
Went great. I think I was 40 or 50 over. For individuals, I bowled with my wife, me and Bread. Bread bowled unbelievable. I think she beat me by. I think she had to shoot. She had to shoot close. Maybe she didn't. She had a bad last game. I think she was right around me 870, 860. We got to bowl with Nick Harris and Connor Leclerc. Those guys bowled really well. Didn't catch a sniff of cashing in doubles. We had a guy shoot 1,100 with his handicap.
Yes.
Zach Bailey, unbelievable. Our winners in doubles was Brandon Barlow, and the guest was Aiden McCarthy. I think they shot 2,000.
It was over 2,000, yeah.
2,000.
Well, with their handicap, yeah.
Yeah, they bowled unbelievable. Yeah, they bowled really good. And we did re-rate everybody. If anybody has questions, we rate to the challenge pattern.
And that's just for the doubles gets handicap.
Just for the doubles, yep. And then singles, Kyle was our winner this week. I mean, a great performance. 289.
Mm-hmm.
289 in qualifying. I think you were.
It still only shot 868 because I hit 1 and 2, and
You probably
I
shouldn't
made
have
the
said that.
Complete wrong move.
Wow. Okay, that sucks. At least I went up every game. You did bowled really well. Squeaked into the cut. I think you were tied for the cut. You were 867.
868.
You were tied with Danny Bag of Donuts.
Mm-hmm.
And Danny Bag of Donuts. And then we had the 2 seed was Brett Groff. And the leader was Bonesteel with 970.
Mm-hmm.
So he had about a 100 pin lead. We did an eliminator final for our division, for both divisions. So what they did was
and the pins carried over.
Pins carried over. Kyle ends up shooting, I don't know. I think he shot like
198.
Yeah,
first game.
and I think you beat Danny Bag of Donuts. I think
By
he shot
5
like
pins.
Yeah, he shot like 193. So Kyle squeaks
Oops.
by, and then pins carried over again.
But nobody really
Nobody
shot lights
whacked
out
him.
that game
Nobody whacked him. Kyle found out the move
until game 2.
And game 2, Kyle I think shot 299.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic game. He had quite a bit of area. I mean, 3 and 4 is starting to become a house shot no matter what you put on that pair, because that was where you
Is
bowled.
that the half pipe pair?
It must be, because you bowled unbelievable on that pair.
Well,
I was
talking to Joey after the match, Joey D, and he's like, I was watching you practice. You threw that black ball and you struck a couple times, and then you put it down and you started using the blue ball. I said, because I know that if I start striking in practice, I'm never going to strike during the match.
Blackout rolled unbelievable for you.
It was stupid.
Yeah,
It's nuts that you're having success on 3 and 4, because me and Anthony earlier in the season caught 3 and 4.
Yeah, in the
I
early
agree
of the season.
Two
Bad.
league nights in a row and
Horrible.
stunk it up both nights.
I 100% agree, but for whatever reason, it happened to work that I could stand in the same, because usually on that pair I cannot stand in the same spot.
Never.
One is tighter than the other, and I can't
You mean
remember which
3?
one, but
Were you talking about 3 and 4 or 1 and 2?
no, I'm saying one of the lanes is tighter than the
Oh.
other. But during finals, I could stand in the same exact spot, throw it in the same area. I'm not going to say spot. I was all over the map Sunday, but I was practicing on the pair before finals, and like I said, I threw the black ball a couple times, lightning blackout, and then it struck no matter what I did, and then I put that down, started throwing the exponent pearl just to make sure.
Another ball you like?
Yeah. Oh, great ball, but it just kept reading too early. So then
Joey's right.
lightning blackout struck from 5, 10, 8, 6, 12, or 15.
So what you're telling me is he could throw from 5 to 18 and strike. Oh, 5 to 15. I mean, it is true. You literally,
I know
you
I'm not
had
arguing.
area.
I know.
But that's the game. The
Mhm.
play with the least mistakes wins, obviously. The most area you can have. I mean, you threw it everywhere. You caught Brett.
Yep.
You caught Brett by quite a few. And actually, you were right behind Alex. In the last round, we
The
did
299 was huge because I needed to make up a lot of pins to build it, because I think I was behind Brett by 40 or 50. Yeah.
And I think the last game we did just regular head-to-head.
Mhm.
Kyle ended up shooting
220, 230.
something fairly high, and you would have caught Alex anyways, even if the pins rolled over in that last round. But it was definitely a show. It was a light show. It was unbelievable.
I definitely thought I was going to throw a 300 that game, but
You shot
it's a
299.
big crowd.
What'd you
behind
leave?
us, big
There was
crowd.
a lot of people watching,
7 pin,
which was cool.
I missed way right. I missed past 5 apparently.
And as well as the other winner of Division 2 was Paul Hauk.
Yes,
so,
sir.
Congratulations to Paul.
Was that his first W?
I think so.
I think so.
Congratulations. He beat Jeff Hotailing in the final match.
Who had 100 pins on everyone going into
Jeff's
the finals?
been bowling good this year.
Jeff's been bowling pretty good. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's been bowling pretty good. He's like 225 in league here.
Really?
Yeah, he's
Got
super
me
high. But in club, he's not that high.
Wow, that's a whole different animal.
Whole different ballgame. But that was a great match this week. A great showing by Kyle. Austin was
Yay.
home sick.
I was sleeping while you guys were bowling.
Yeah, we were bowling. We were having a good time. We had a good crowd, a good amount of people. A lot of people stayed to watch the finals.
Yeah, I was impressed.
Well, it's because Jeff was in the finals. Everybody likes Jeff.
Yeah, that's true. He's a nice guy.
They saw you and they're like, we don't want to watch that division.
Taking money on anyone else? Taking money on anyone else?
I mean, I had my money on Bones.
He couldn't miss for a while.
He had the lights out move.
Yeah.
I mean, he was doing good.
Straight up the oil line.
Yeah, and it was there. They were broken down pretty well.
Which, by
too.
the way, is why I went to that ball and went straight.
Well,
So
I'm
thanks,
glad you
Bones,
read
for
the
the
link.
look.
Great job, Kyle.
All right, so let's move on from that. Before we talk about Team USA and the PBA Elite League, don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell to get alerts from the channel. Email us at downlanepod@gmail.com.
Were you watching yourself on the camera? That's
No,
weird.
I'm looking at the camera to talk to the viewers.
Anybody see the football guy who saw on the jumbotron that the quarterback threw the ball and it was a not super far pass, but he saw the jumbotron and the quarterback threw the ball, so he turned around and intercepted it. They're like,
That's wild.
They're like, how did you know that he? How
Was
did
it
you
the
know?
Ravens guy?
No, I think it was
Usually
college.
there's a little bit of a delay there.
It was a fairly long pass though. Like he saw.
Oh,
He was,
I do know
it was
what
like
you're talking
Texas
about.
or something like
Yes.
that. He turned around.
He was running
the
the
end zone.
route. He was running the defensive route, and he looked up and saw him throw the ball. So
Yeah.
he was just like, "All right."
So he turned.
I
So
wanna
he
turn
literally-
around.
He turned around because that's when he knew to turn around. He spotted
Ball
it.
was right in
That's
his hand.
wild.
And they're like, "How did you
Why
make
would
that
he
play?"
say anything?
And he was like, "I saw it on the jumbotron."
Oh, what an idiot!
What are they gonna do? Remove the jumbotron?
A lot of people
Well,
do the
they-
jumbotron.
I would think that they would shut it off or put it
No.
on the off behind the offensive team. But I know some
No.
stadiums only have one jumbotron.
They still
so-
do that though because I mean, when one of the guys who was on the Chiefs at the time was running back a punt return, and he looks up the jumbotron when he beats everybody because he wants to see if somebody's behind him. Because then he knows which way to go.
Right.
Because you can see, but he can't look behind him, but he can see up there, so he just looks at the jumbotron.
Well,
while he's
you
running.
lose a couple mile an hour when you're looking behind you.
Well, if nobody's behind you, you're safe. But if you know somebody's behind you, you can put your head back down and go, and maybe make a move
Either way,
somewhere.
pretty
Go.
wild.
Yeah, look
Very
at the
wild.
jumbotron interception.
So Team USA or Team Trials finished up. They announced the teams. We're gonna run down real quick, see who
Where are we running
who
to?
made the cut. Andrew Anderson, Ryan Barnes, Connor Fleming, Packy Hanrahan, AJ Johnson, Lyndon Jordan, Bryce Oliver, Jake Peters. What up, Jake? CJ Petrin, he's the amateur champion.
Ooh,
Christopher Prather. Hello, Christopher. Matt Russo, Julian Salinas, Darren Tang, Chris Vi.
so 90% are PBA players, and did all of them bowl?
No,
Oh.
because the coach gets to make
Picks, right?
resume picks.
Yeah.
So and plus a bunch of the teammates were bowling at the IBF World Championships or something to that effect.
Good. Let's put it at the same time
I
as the
know.
IBF.
I
That's
know.
smart.
Makes a lot of sense.
Well, good for these people for making it, but
On
happy
the-
you'll be a cut
On the women's side, Caitlin Abagania,
from San Diego,
San Diego. Julia Bond,
Nebraska,
Gianna Brandolino.
Illinois.
She freaking gnaws on it, dude.
No idea who that is.
She throws it good. Brianna Clemmer,
Nick Harris.
Brianna Cote, Crystal Elliott,
Hope
Hope
Gramley.
Gramley, Chloe Lemke, Jillian Martin, Kristen Moore, Annalise O'Brien, Miranda Pattison, Shannon Pluwowski, Lauren Russo.
So the Hope girl is like 6'2".
Yeah, dude, she might be taller than that.
Wow.
She's a
She's played
two-handed or
volleyball, I think.
one-handed?
I think she's played. They said that because
one-handed.
we watched it in at Janelle's parents' house. They were watching like the U.S. Open for the women or something. I think she made it, and we were like, "How tall is this girl?" She was on like some volleyball team.
So
for
Caitlin
college.
Abagania is the amateur champion as well, female amateur champion.
Congratulations! What do they get for that? Pat on the back and
I believe the winners of the tournament overall get like a few $100. Not much.
cool.
Basically, you're paying thousands of dollars to go out to Reno to
Bowl for
Hold-
fun.
to make one or two spots or maybe three.
Wow. She beat everyone in the trials. Crystal Elliott
Yeah, so Crystal
By
Elliott made it
300 pins.
won 4 out of 5 squads.
Crystal Elliott, singer.
I don't think so. Maybe she's good at singing. I don't know.
Wasn't there an Elliott? This beat is. Oh, that's not. her.
Oh,
That's
Oh,
Sierra
jeez.
or something like that.
But we talked about the patterns last week, how crazy they were.
Silly they
So,
looked.
I assume that they had to have bowled pretty good on those patterns in order to make it in. I know Darren was complaining about one of them being a strike fest, and I know the women and the men bowled on different stuff, but yeah, he posted one day that there was a carry contest yesterday or something like that, and I don't remember which pattern that was. I can probably find it, but yeah, I guess one of the days was a high scoring day.
Well, I mean, don't you always have like a high scoring day in
You
there?
would think so.
Like, I don't feel like it's always going to be super difficult. I'm assuming that.
You're asking a lot on the demanding patterns. They're gonna hit an easier pattern.
Yeah, I mean, you're putting all these wacky things out, then you hit a slightly easier one.
They're gonna mash them.
Or a more normal pattern,
Mhm.
we'll call it. I bet you it was the one that was more normal, where it was kind of built pretty.
Yeah.
Oh, pretty Christmas tree standard.
Yeah,
like,
more
yeah.
like yeah.
Pretty. I mean, it wasn't super wide,
And I
but
think that
apparently
was
it
what day 4 or 3
Day
that they
four
had
was
that out there.
Day 4 was a high scoring pattern.
Okay,
Day
four.
4, yeah.
I'm trying to find it, but the website all changed.
I can find it for you. Buddy.
Yeah, that's interesting to me that they would throw that in there. But I mean, maybe you want to give somebody else a chance to win. So the guys who can hit the pocket, I guess. I don't know. But the whole thing on the face base is talking about all these extra 2-to-2 loads going down the lane and to try to make launch angles straighter and
Really?
la-di-la-di-la. Yeah, well, it's also trying to take out the purple hammer, but the two-handers are still throwing the purple hammers. So everybody is still up in arms about that because they can make him curve from anywhere. So
Yeah, I mean,
they're trying to literally eliminate one ball. And I saw Ryan Schaefer's post on FaceBase, and it was good. He wrote, "This is what bowling on the PBA Tour is like." And it was a picture of a fairway in golf with a tree in the middle. Just a giant tree. And I was like, okay. It was pretty funny. But
he does come up with some pretty funny stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he had to put the crossing
I
guard
would
shirt
know.
on for you because you can't do lane courtesy, apparently. But yeah, I think they were pretty crazy. Scores were fairly high, it looked like, on
I
some
am
patterns. So.
putting it up right now. This was day 4.
Is it the standard one?
It is the standard.
So speaking of banning urethane,
Ban it. Why? That's all I use. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. They're gonna whack that once they bowl on the other stuff.
plus it looks pretty loaded in the middle, doesn't it? Just from this angle,
What's the ratio?
I can't see that.
Scroll up for me, Austin. 3-1.
Oh, that's high. 3.3 to 1 is high.
Oh, this is similar to what we bowled on last night, actually. It's 41 feet. Go up. Is it 28 mils?
28.3.
They just maybe made it a little bit wider, actually. So this is what we bowled on last night, or very close to. So what you bowled on and said was a house shot after the transition. Imagine
Dude,
what
and
they
I
had.
walked down there, right side was blown apart.
Well, you had two-handers bowling everywhere.
So speaking of banning urethane, the teams were announced for the PBA Elite League.
What does it have to do with urethane?
Let me tell you. So there's a couple of rules that weren't specified back when we talked to Tom Clark, and
Tommy C.
he was talking about this on the show and talking about Anthony's idea to have a battle of the brands. But let's see here. So a couple of quick things. The champions will earn $100,000 to be allocated to its players by the manufacturer. Be interesting to see how that gets divvied up. If they break it up evenly, or the guys that got selected more to the team, or to the roster of the day.
Bill Rice, my friend.
What's up, Bill? And then it says, during the regular season, players will be able to use any product registered bowling ball available to them. For example, Rotogrip players can use Storm and 900 Global equipment. Hammer players can use Brunswick, Ebonite, just like they do now, right? However, in the championship match, they can only use their brand's equipment.
I mean, that's kind of what I said, didn't I, when we talked about this?
Yes, well, that would have been for if it was an actual league and they bowled all season.
Yeah, like when you bowl the
use
actual events of the league, it would have to be your branded ball.
Right. But that to me is interesting because my first thought was, well,
Brunswick doesn't have urethane.
Exactly. There's only one.
Black
Brunswick
Hammer
and Storm are the only real urethanes that you can have on tour, more or less. However, since not all brands produce a urethane ball, no player may use urethane equipment during final matches. The tournament director may grant us an exemption for equipment used exclusively for spares.
So the hammer urethane is not allowed in the Players League
in the final match.
or the 78U.
Right.
Urethane,
no
is
urethane unless it's used for a spare.
well,
Is not allowed in the championship match.
I don't think that's a big deal because they usually throw out like 8-1 on the last match. That's what they do for the league. They throw like a 6 or 8-1
for the TV match. You're saying?
Yeah, they always throw out something easy, anyways.
I thought they used the Don Carter a lot.
I don't know if it's Don Carter. They use something that was like 6-1.
Easier or not, though, the lefties are still using urethane.
Well, yeah. But how many lefties are on a team?
We'll
get to that.
Let's go down the list. 900 global.
Hold on.
All right. Oh, he's got to bring up the
jet, man.
Sorry.
What did I
I'll
do?
start talking. You bring it up. So 900 global. We got Andrew Anderson, Richie Teese, Mitch Hoope, Sean Rash, Ryan Barnes, Chase
Nadeau.
Nadeau,
I don't even know if he's
Nadeau.
lefty or
I think
righty.
it's Nadeau.
Chris Sloan, Chris Barnes.
So nobody's a left-hander that I know of.
Isn't Sloan the lefty?
No,
He's
Sloan's
a righty?
right-handed. He's a two-handed righty from I think Ireland or Ducks Irish.
So this is what I find kind of interesting to watch as they start picking their players, because each company chose somebody in a different position to manage the team. So, for example, you got Gary Hulsenberg, who was the Storm Vice President of Marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Brunswick, you got Packy Hanrahan, Graham Fa, Jason Sterner, Don Barrett, Nate Stubler, Tim Foy Jr., Andrew Hall.
Friend of the show.
Who? Gary Faulkner Jr., Parker Bone III, still coming in strong here.
Is Gary Faulkner a left-hander? Yeah. I think he is.
Wasn't he on Motive for a while?
Yeah, they got 5 lefties. How many people can you have?
You can have up to 15.
Up to 15 on your roster.
Yeah, but you bowl, you select. It's like
Yeah, I know it's fantasy baseball.
fantasy bowling. Thank you. They pick 5 for the day, 5 for the tournament, rather.
5 lefties on that team.
But how about Tim Foy and Andrew? New exempt tour players already on the Brunswick roster.
Well, you can take 15. That's the whole tour. You got,
They have
if each brand just takes 15, there's only 60 players. I don't understand why there's a limit then. It's literally the dumbest thing in my life I've ever seen. What are you doing? 15 times is how many brands are there? 5?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
7 or
6, 7, 8. It's over 80. It's
That's
over.
math.
That's
literally
it's like
math.
100.
You might as well just take everybody that bowls. Like
It's 120.
Yeah.
If they are all full.
what's the point of even having teams now?
Well, it's for the manufacturers.
Yeah, cool. You can literally everybody on tour is on a team. There's no point to have teams.
I don't understand why you're saying there's no point. This is to see the battle of the brands, not to eliminate people from
You
being
might as
able
well
to
just
bowl.
do Brunswick versus Storm versus.
But again,
Motive.
they can only take 5, so it's 40 bowlers bowling in that league.
It still makes no sense. You can have 120 people on your team. Why doesn't you just make it like
You can't, because there's only 8 of you.
Now there's trades.
There can't be 8.
But how
There
you
can't
gonna-
be 120.
That's my point.
There's 120 in the whole league, just like there's however many hundreds of guys in the NFL.
Yeah, I get it, but like this is stupid because now you're gonna have trades.
So yeah,
So you can't pick and add up. You can't like drop somebody and pick them up. Or like, all right, Gary's bowling not good. We've got this guy in the wings. Now it's like, we got 12 guys on tour or 15 guys on tour. They're all on our team now.
but they can only pick 5 guys.
Yeah, but it's still
So they still have to select from the best people on their team in order that are going to
Packy,
bowl that week.
Sterner, Barrett.
Does Parker Bones still bowl every week?
No.
So that's what I'm confused about.
Well, that's the point. Like you have like a part timer. Maybe they're taking PBA 50 points. I don't know.
It literally just says priority list.
Yeah, you literally can take everybody. It's kind of pointless to make even if you have to pick 5. Your team is 15 people. Why does that?
All right.
Okay, here we go.
What are we on?
This is
Deviate
the
now?
two-hander team.
Oh, yeah.
5,
So
6,
deviators.
7,
Matt Ogle, Kevin Williams, Dio Bernard. By the way, it's not all two-handed.
8.
Hayden Stipich, Nate Purchase, Cam Crow,
Sorry,
Bailey Maverick, and then Ryan Simonelli.
8 people.
Is he bowling full time now?
I don't know. He's probably like Barnes. He's on the bottom of the list, so who knows? But
Oh, by the
you can
way-
have 15 people, so why does it matter if he's full time or not? You can,
I get it.
you know.
But I forgot to mention Brunswick is managed by Corey Dykstra, CEO of Brunswick Bowling Products.
Hmm.
Deviate is managed by Billy Orlikowski, Director of Consumer Product Management.
Friend of Mark Taylor.
Especially when you've got all of the mixture of brands, it is funny to see, like, okay, so the VP of Consumer Products is going against the Director of Marketing, or going against the Director of Consumer Products.
Do you think they have intercompany bets going on?
100%.
Who's buying lunch this week? Ebonite, you got Jake Peters, Matt Sanders, Tommy Jones, Jake Buttriff, Christian Ascona, AJ Chapman, Brandon Runk, Kim Bolaby. That's the Bugsy Kelly, Director of Marketing. Hammer, Marshall Kent, Bill O'Neill, no big surprise there. Zach Wilkins, I didn't even know he was full-time.
He is now. He had a good year this year.
Bug Kroll, Tom Doherty, Eric Jones, Thomas Calco, Sean Maldonado. The VP of Consumer Products, Brian Graham, he's managing that team. Then we move on to Motive. EJ Tackett, Matt Russo, Tom Smallwood, AJ Johnson, Sam Cooley, Sean Liveryspar, Nathan Bohr, Dick Allen, Ronnie Russell, Santu,
There's a lot of rev rate on that team.
And he was granted injury exemption.
Who?
Santu.
Yeah, his knee hurt.
Brett
get surgery?
Strangler is managing that team.
Did he get a knee brace?
I don't know. He's on injured reserve.
Oh, they have that.
Injury exemption. That's what it says.
He's on the IR.
Speaking of Motive, Team USA, Motive had 5 players make Team USA, which maybe not sounds.
How many
like
more
a lot,
teams
but
are there?
Two more.
Okay, because I'm counting the lefties.
You got Rotogrip, Anthony Simonson, Justin Knowles, Chris Prather, BJ Moore, Stu Williams, DJ Archer, Kevin McCune, Wes Malott. That's no righties or no lefties, right?
Justin
no,
Knowles a lefty.
Yeah, I think so.
Justin
Chris
Knowles,
Schlemmer. He's
we're
managing
roughly
that
around
team.
17 or 18 lefties.
Storm, you got Belmo, Troop, Jesper, Chris Vi, D-Ron. Made the team big time. Masters. He also bowled Team USA trials, and I think he did pretty good.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Glad to see Patrick Dombrowski.
That's pretty cool. I don't, again, another guy that's not full-time, or at least wasn't. Kyle Sherman, Francois Lavoie, Darren Tang, Thomas Larson. Again, Darren Tang, I thought he backed out too.
Nah, he still tries.
Okay. Well, I mean full-time.
No, I think he still tries
Okay.
full time. Yeah.
And Tyler Jensen, president of Storm Products, is running Team Storm.
About 17 lefties in there I can root for.
But you got to pick a team, man.
I just don't understand the 15 people per team. That doesn't make any sense to
It's
me.
no different than having a full roster of 20
we-
guys on your basketball team. And
Yeah, but now you're saying you can have trades.
yes, in February they can.
It's
they can
only
start
in
dropping
that trade
players.
time.
Oh, they
frame,
can
too.
drop players.
Bring players in. Yeah. Why?
God. It's a nightmare.
What if you have a guy that's not bowling many tournaments, and then you decide, like, let's say Parker Bone doesn't bowl all of
He's not going to.
the PBA Tour tournament, so they can drop him and add in somebody that's been bowling and bowling well.
How many more people are going to be bowling all the stops?
Well, you've got. They also said that if you win a tournament, you can be added in.
Also, you got to win. Yeah, my thought is just this, Kyle. Okay.
Hang on. I just don't understand why. I don't understand your logic where you're saying the tour has what's their roster, like 90 or something, or 80? Did they
Only
bump it up a
60
little
bowl.
bit? No, didn't they bump it up?
I don't know. I don't pay.
They bumped it up.
65 people. bowl.
So they have. So who cares if all of them make up the teams?
I think that's the whole point of this.
Right. You have less people to eliminate out of it.
Yeah, but you have up to 15, but there's no minimum. So like,
Yes, there
Some
is.
teams-
There's a
Six.
minimum of 5 or 6.
6.
6.
so when you go play in the
have to have a
NFL,
sub.
you got 72. Is it 72? Might not be 72.
That might be the
50,
starting squad.
it's 50. I think
Yeah, plus practice
53 or 54 man roster.
squad. Yeah,
for
53,
active.
54, right. But you can't just be like, we're going to take 11 guys out today and play. No, you got to have 52. There should be each team gets 8 players, and then dropping and adding. There should be a maximum acquisition limit, so you can't just do it every week. So if you've got,
You can't acquire during the
You
week.
can't. It's the trade deadline is February 17th to the 23rd.
I'm not
That's
talking
it.
about trading. I'm literally talking about picking up and dropping players.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
you
the same,
can't-
same time period.
That is the time period that you can bring in players, drop players, or trade. I'm assuming by trade they literally mean like inter-brand, like intercompany brand trading.
Yeah. Hey, we're bowling really
assume
bad.
It could be anything.
Well, my question is, who's going to
Possibly.
make the shirts for those guys? They're going to have to get a different shirt. I think that it's just silly. Okay, I'm just going to tell you. I'm going to give you my opinion on it. It's a great idea that I came up with because I came up with it.
Executed
It's true.
poorly so far. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I just think it's silly.
I don't think it's executed poorly.
I don't.
I
Either.
think
You can have up to 15 people. What does that
Yes.
even mean? It should be, all right, guys, each team gets 8 players. Boom. Now you got 4 guys in the pool that you don't have. You got 3 from another team, 2 from another team, whatever you want to say. But then you have to be like, all right, you got how many weeks does a PBA go on for? How many events are there?
12-ish.
All right, let's say there's 15 events.
That might be closer to right.
Let's say there's
14 or
15 events. Now you say, all right, you guys are allowed to have 8 people, but you only get 10 acquisitions a year. So you can only pick up a player 10 times, right? But you still have to drop somebody.
10 out of 15? It's a lot.
Yeah, so you could do it every other week if you wanted to. Say one guy's bowling really good, you could add him. Like, so now there is no adding or dropping. You just picked everybody in. Everybody, great, you're on your team. That's awesome. But now there's no like strategy of, hey, we don't need this guy here, but we might need him down the road. No, the whole team just has him. So it's like, oh well, he's gonna bowl good the back half. He's gonna bowl good the front half because we signed him. That's what it is. No, it should be you got 8 guys, and we don't need him in the beginning unless he starts to bowl good. We'll flip him in. We'll add him in and we'll drop another guy.
So did you just say you didn't want that?
No, I would like that.
Oh.
I think the way
But
they
you
do it
think
now.
you think that the whole team should be bowling for score every week?
Yeah, why not? As long as
that
I think
They should take a strategy out of the game.
there should be like 2 bench players. Because it's bowling. Who gets hurt in bowling?
Well, okay, it's not 2, but that's what they're doing. They have bench players.
Yeah, but
they're
they
still
can have
bowling,
up to
but
15 people. I'm saying
get
the
it.
teams are capped at 8. So that way it's equal across the board. Because Storm and Brunswick, obviously they're the number 1 sellers for each respective thing. Or Motive. They can have 15 people, while DV8 might only have 7 guys on
Anyway,
their they might have just 7. Or Ebonite might have 5, let's just say.
Mhm.
But then the other guys get 12. So it's only I don't like the word fair.
Mhm.
But in a league, there needs to be actual fundamental rules. Like there should only be 8 people, and then you should have to add and drop people. You shouldn't just be able to do what you want. Oh, we signed this guy, so he's on our team. Well, what's the point?
My guess is they were trying to appease both sides, where Motive has so many people to choose from, or even like you said,
They still
deviate's small too.
But they said 15 people.
I know,
That's-
but they may not have 15, whereas the other guys
I
want
think-
more choice because they have the 15 person.
As of
stable.
right now, from my count, I think every single team has 10.
There's fluctuation. Some have 9, some have 10 or 8,
Mhm.
but
Yeah,
there
there's a little
there
bit
is
of fluctuation.
fluctuation.
I just don't think it's like it doesn't. Yeah, then trades like well, okay. Wow.
This guy's gonna go. I am curious to see how many actually happened, because really you're just pushing the peanut from DV8 to Brunswick or Hammer.
like,
Yeah,
oh, he's
well,
bowling good.
Wear this shirt this week.
Right, unless something wild actually does happen.
No.
And they
Well, you never know.
truly
Someone
transfer.
I mean,
or trade to.
That-
There's a decent amount of money
I'm
up
just
top,
saying.
isn't there?
That's dumb.
No, there's $100,000 divided against all 10 bowlers.
Well, no. It said that the
Yes,
company
I understand.
could give out money
But-
the way they feel.
EJ is not going to get. What I was going to say is they're not just going to give EJ $100,000 if he wins, because then the rest of the team gets nothing. So do they
Majority, I would think.
do
Depends-
they
especially
disperse
performance.
it evenly, or
Based
do they
on
do it based
performance.
on performance?
I
Good
think.
question.
I
If you
think
didn't bowl in any of the events,
Is the PBA monitoring the money to see how the company distributes it, or if they keep it all? Or
I'm
although
still
I'm sure
lost
the bowlers
in
would be a little upset about that.
I'm still lost in the roster thing. I don't understand.
I think
I don't understand that.
I think you might be overthinking it just a
I
tad.
agree, 100%.
Just
agree.
a tad.
I think the roster thing is silly. I don't understand how you can put 15 people on a team. There's only 65 effing players.
I think there's a few more this year.
There's 75. You're allowing 120 players.
Who cares?
I care.
I don't understand
You
why
don't
that.
go-
Well, it's not
Baseball, there's
really
a-
allowing it. There is the base rule that you have to be signed to the team and you have to be priority status.
What the heck does that? Who cares? It's a stupid rule. It's stupid. It's dumb.
But that's the limiting factor right there.
Baseball, there's a 20 whatever it is.
Yeah,
20,
think about
25.
that stable. How many leagues they got? Single A, double A, triple A. They pull up all season long.
Yes.
But that's a huge stable of players.
Yes.
That's like 1,000 players.
More
but
than
the active roster is only 25 people. They have to still make acquisitions or
Just
move
like the
players here
active
and
roster is only 15.
there. You can only play 5.
I know.
But in baseball, there's like actual trades and actual player drops and ads and there's actual free agency and this is like faux everything.
Yes, just like
well,
the
you
last
can't,
league. We
but
know.
you can't definitely can't have free agency in something where you're brand specific.
No,
Right.
which you don't have to have free agency, but you could not have everybody on a team because then it'd make it more strategic for each individual team. Deviate and Ebonite, regardless of maybe they'll both great. But I'm saying Deviate and Ebonite are at an extreme disadvantage versus Storm and Brunswick
Well, at least in the finals there.
and Hammer because they don't have a stable of people. They don't have as many people. So they'll see how they do, and then you're going to see all the many, like if Deviate's going really well, they're like, oh yeah, we're going to trade this guy today to this team. And then we'll trade him back.
If the trade was
at the end
worth
of the
money,
year.
it would make sense.
Well, you can't that you have 4 days to trade. That's it. There
Okay.
is no trade backs.
Okay, no trade
No
backs.
give backs.
No give backs till next year.
Takesies only, no
it's,
give backs.
It's literally a rental. You ever heard of like when they traded for who traded for who? I can't remember. Oh, I think it was CC Sabathia got traded to the Milwaukee Brewers, right? I don't know. This was a long time ago.
Well, look at I got a recent example as of today. Ezekiel was signed to the Chargers for the playoffs.
Sure, but you trade for, but no, not really. Because what I'm saying is, okay, you've got CC Sabathia. I forget, or maybe he was on the Brewers, or he was on the Indians and went to the Brewers, whatever it was. He literally played for half a year, or no, from like I think it was like July or June to September. Missed the playoffs, or they had a playoff run, and literally he went to another team the next year. It was literally what they call a rental, right? Because you traded him. You rented him for 3 or 4 months, and then he booked it out of there and went somewhere else. In this case, it's like saying, well, the Yankees are playing really bad, but our affiliate team in the other league is the Los Angeles Dodgers. Hey, Juan Soto, you're playing really good. We're going to trade you to the Dodgers for half the year, and then at the end of the year, you're going to come back to our team. Rental. It's not a trade, it's a rental. We'll at least get the words right. If you're going to trade them, they're going to have to stay on that roster for the rest of whatever it is until the contract's up or whatever. I mean, I guess maybe he could sign back with the other team, but if he's under contract for 2 years and you trade him to Deviate, he now needs to be on Deviate in the PBA world
For how long?
Well, that's
for a
that's
full
getting,
year,
that's
or
getting
until the contract
that's
is done, or
getting
until he
into a
gets traded
whole-
back the next year in 4 days, where there's
That's-
only a 4-day period.
That's getting
So-
into a whole different can of worms because some contracts have it written in there that trade
They're trade
counteracts the
clauses.
contract.
Yeah, there are trade clauses, but in bowling, it's not a real trade.
Right.
It's a rental.
You're not owned by a team.
Go drive your Ferrari, Jason Belmonte, and then you're going to go bowl for Roto Grip because you're going to be with Belmo and they're bowling so good. We're going to trade you rent for 3 weeks, and then at the end of the season, you're going right back to Storm. It's at least if his contract was up and then he goes to Roto Grip, different story. Or he goes to Brunswick, different story. But in this case, he's literally just going to go back to Storm, and it's going to be like, oh, remember when he got traded? No, he didn't really he just rented.
This argument I can get behind. I can completely agree. Like, it's a silly trade thing. You're just,
Trades
like
are
I said,
silly.
you're pushing the peanut. But the first one where you're saying that, there's X amount of guys in the league, you're just taking all of the league
They
players.
shouldn't be all. They
or,
shouldn't all
in
be
the-
in
in
the
the-
league.
in
It's
the
a
PBA,
separate
they're-
thing.
I
Let me
just
ask you a question about F1. You ever seen F1?
don't watch it. No.
Exactly. Do they trade drivers?
Of course not.
What's their roster for
But
drivers, Kyle?
Every
What's
sport can't be the same.
What's their rosters for drivers?
2?
No,
You have to have a backup driver.
exactly. 3. And where the rest go?
I just said you just said
Somewhere
what's the
else.
roster? I said 2.
Okay, so they can have 3 or 4, and then they all go race another league. Well, this is
Right.
just a side league, so they all shouldn't be in the PBA league. If it's the elite league, then it should be the elite players go into the elite league, and then then add and drop. Yes, they are still on their brand specific teams, but it makes the actual draft or signings even more relatable to the player. It gives the story. It's like, man, that like Zach Wilkins, man, that Zach Wilkins guy, man, he's bowling so good this year, which he did, or Boog, whatever. Wow, they're bowling so good. It's incredible. They're not even on a team. They're not even on. And then Brunswick says, you know what? Hey, Boog, you're bowling really good. Ebonite's bowling pretty good. We're going to sign you to the Ebonite team for X amount or whatever. And then it's going to be like, hey, man, he just got picked up. And now they're going to drop as Kona because he's not. Now it actually makes a storyline, like Kyle always says, instead of, hey, you made it. Oh, you've won one. You're on my team. Cool.
Thank you for that analysis.
It's just way more exciting.
I definitely
my way.
get what you're coming from.
It's way more exciting.
Where you're coming from.
You can relate to
think,
people.
I think having to lock in 5 players each week
is good enough.
Is the closest you're going to get because people.
That's fine.
Until the PBA actually has like a decent following.
They have a pretty good following.
But, I know, but what I'm getting at
you're
is
trying to grow your following.
NFL level following, not money wise or not amount wise,
just
but
the eyes on it,
interest.
So let me ask you a question.
The guy, guys actually
when you have that
NFL
big interest in
baseball and football
and oh my God, we got FanDuel. FanDuel's following bowling now. Like,
yeah,
if that ever happens, like I get it. Now you could make a separate league where you can actually draw amateurs. You could draw someone like, oh, this guy bowls really good in this tournament. I know, but
this is a side.
I'm saying a side league that literally is not involved with the PBA.
But this literally has no implications on the tour,
except at
they
the
bowl
end
at the
where they
same
bowl
stop.
on TV and make
Sure.
or win
Okay.
bowl for $100,000.
cool. But it's still literally a separate thing in a sense, even though you count your scores. It's literally a completely separate thing. You're trying to draw more people in. You're trying to wrap people's heads around bowling more. You're trying to get people to understand it, but yet you fail to capture the storyline behind the player. Because everybody gets in. And you're always the one talking about storyline, Kyle.
I agree with you.
There's no storyline with, oh, he's exempt, he's on the team. Like when I heard Andrew was on the team, I was like, oh, that's really cool. But then everybody's on the team. So it's like, oh, it makes sense because everybody you get a trophy and you get a trophy and you get a trophy. It's the elite league. It should be 8 players from each brand, if that. And then you can start your players. But the ad drops, there needs to be an ad drop. The trade is stupid because it's a rental. It's not real. It's not something you can actually put in play. I guess
It's a borrow. It's not even a rental.
I guess slapping my idea out there makes it look cool, but they just don't have the actual drive to get it right. And if you're going to actually try to make it so that way people actually pay attention and they have it on their phone, you have to do this. You can't just throw it out there. Be like, yeah, people are going to like it. Yeah, it was a great idea. But now, I don't care about the trades because it's a rental and there's everybody in the field is on a team. I don't care who gets started.
Well, I will say we have no idea what the trade could be. They could someone from Motive could be traded to Brunswick.
No.
We don't know. We have no idea.
We said that, but yeah, the likelihood is because they have a paid contract. So they're from Motive or from Brunswick or from Storm. So there's no way. I don't foresee a way that would be ever possible without going back on
unless the guy
your word
leaves.
as the sponsor. So if Roto Grip says to Simonson in the middle of the year, which is this is obviously a stupid example, but if they said, all right, we're trading you to Motive, good luck, then their contract, unless they changed all of their stipulations based on this league, their contract would be like null and void or whatever.
Yes,
because he's getting a paid contract from them as a
but that would
bowling ambassador and PBA bowler and.
But that would be putting it towards other sports. That would be bringing in the the popular sports aspect. When you trade in other sports, it doesn't matter if you sign a contract.
Right. It's different that,
No, I get it. I'm just saying we have no idea.
Then there are teams, but Nike isn't trading players. You know what I mean? It's the Green Bay Packers or whatever. Reebok.
You're on that company's. The company is the one that contracted you.
Still the employee. He's still an employee of the Packers.
I understand what they're saying.
Which these guys are employees.
I understand what you're saying is they're sponsored. They're not technically what a football player is. You're not signing a contract with the team to exclusively do that.
But,
Hence,
but who knows? What if this changes it to that?
Hence, like I said, trades are dumb.
So
here's the other
we'll
thing
definitely see
quick.
The other thing that would be interesting is that you just saw a bunch of guys move to a different company.
Mm-hmm.
It was definitely on purpose.
Right. So
It was to fill,
sure, whatever it was.
shortcomings in the other brands.
Whatever. But you're gonna say that,
Or do you mean the motive, like the
I'm just
motive
talking
and
about
the
it. I'm just talking about it, like people signed with these guys
new
specifically.
contract signings?
Yes.
Uh,
And now you're gonna say, "Oh, we just signed you, but hey, we're gonna trade you for
Right.
this guy."
Right.
And it's like, but now I have to drill all new equipment. Like football, I
Mhm.
think is different because you can.
Wow, your sneakers still fit in football.
Yeah,
Like,
and
your
your,
cleats still fit.
your helmet
Yeah.
is your helmet, your personal helmet that gets
Yeah.
painted over. Your pads are probably your pads. They just fit you for a jersey, and you go play. This is all of this equipment. Like, so you're gonna tell a guy he's gonna drill 20 or 30 balls throughout the tour season,
Mhm.
and then all of a sudden it's gonna be like, hey,
Guess
can't use those. we just pick you up. I think it's
That's
I think the
100%.
trade thing
That's
is
a
stupid.
Excellent point, because halfway through the season, a bowler is going to need, like you said, now I'll relearn
Yeah,
his
you're gonna
equipment.
relearn while you're on tour. I think that's crazy.
I
So
don't
I
think
think,
so.
like I said, I think the trades are stupid because it's just gonna be a rental. It's a little
borrow.
It's like a bar. Yeah, it's a rental or
They're
a
not
borrow.
paying. It's a borrow.
Yeah, it's a. I think it's a silly thing. I think the ad drop thing would make it more storyline for a player who's coming up as well. Like if Hall wasn't on a team, then he starts to bowl really well. He just got moved to Brunswick, by the way, to fill out the league apparently. So okay, so now he's moved to Brunswick. Well, wouldn't it be great if he was Hammer still and he started bowling lights out and Hammer's like, we need this guy.
Need him back.
And then the
So now we're getting into the whole, maybe the PBA Tour needs to have a larger exempt field.
well, it should always be a larger exempt field, but I'm just saying that the league, what they're doing now for the elite level, it should be the elite players only, the guys who obviously are their top players. And then you can add and drop for guys that you also have. You don't just sign guys to the tour just to sign them. They got to be pretty good. So obviously everybody's pretty good, but are they the elite of the elite? I mean, you could probably leave them off your roster for a bit, and if they start to bowl, then you can add that guy for the week and drop somebody who hasn't been bowling good. So that makes it, hey man, he's been bowling really good. Yeah, we picked up 2 guys this week. We've only got 8 more acquisitions to go. We really got to pick them and choose them wisely because
Now-
we're so close to Brunswick or Hammer in the top of the standings. So our thought is, we want him to take some of the pressure off him because we think we're going to need him down the road. So now we're gonna leave him off there. We're gonna drill him some new balls, and hopefully by the back half of the season, if he is ready, we're gonna add him back to the team, and hopefully he's gonna be able to help us prevail to win the thing. Instead of, well, we have all 15 guys, so it doesn't matter what we do.
Yeah, we'll just pick this 5 instead of that 5.
Yeah, it's just well, that's what I'm saying. You just pick this. Now it creates a storyline for even the person running the team.
Right.
Like, why did you choose Jason Belmonte this week? He's good.
Because he's Jason Belmonte.
He's good. Well, why didn't you pick the lefty? We're on 44 feet. Okay, like there's really no. I don't think there would ever be press conferences in bowling, but if you're trying to
There should
capture
be.
people, just think about talking to a guy. Well, you have 12 different guys. How'd you pick? Well, we flipped a coin this week. He had a good look in practice, so we're thinking that's
Let's
not.
see how that goes. Maybe they won't say they
I
flipped
just-
the coin, but
Sure. Well, I'm just saying, you got 15
it's
guys.
we still really don't know exactly how it's going to work out.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a good idea.
well, let's leave it at this.
Anthony's angry.
Well,
Tom
no.
Clark should send us the viewership ratings.
Next year, when the league is happening again, or maybe not,
or
who
revamped
knows?
to something
Revamped to
else.
something else. We'll see if your ideas make the cut for next year.
Maybe they will. Maybe I didn't explain it good enough
Maybe
last
you didn't
time.
announce it too early enough in 2024 to have your ideas implemented.
They
fully
tried.
into
They
the
tried to
league.
throw their own ideas in. That's the problem. They didn't
Wow,
just stick
that's
100%
right.
with Anthony.
That's right.
To dig Fidge, they are splitting it up how the manufacturers feel fit.
Yep.
So there is no actual breakdown. That's the other thing too. If there's 15 guys in the roster and they can pay you how they want,
Yeah, 'cause,
and you don't
What if
play,
one guy
like-
bowled 1 week?
yeah,
What's he get? I don't know. Or are they going to only do it based on who bowled in the
I
finals?
guess the ad drop thing would throw another wrench into it. But I mean, at the same time, you would hope that the manufacturer would be like, hey, you bowled 2 events, you were on our team, we'll throw you 10 grand just because you were on the
So what team is your guess?
I didn't even look at the rosters.
I just announced them all.
I know, but I didn't look hard. If I, had to pick,
counting all the lefties.
I was actually. It was 17, 16 to 18, somewhere in there. I don't know. I think 900's got some good stuff out, and I think their roster's pretty solid. So I think 900 is going to have a really good year.
I think Motive's looking good.
Well, yeah, you got some good guys. I just wonder if Ryan Barnes pulls a whole season or not. 'cause I
I'm
think they'll both do well.
I'm gonna go Hammer.
And Chris Barnes. I don't know if Chris Barnes is full.
He wasn't on the list.
Yeah, he was. It was
Yeah,
Barnes
he
and
was.
Barnes.
He's bowling with the sun.
Ryan and Chris
I
on the
must
same
have
team.
melded them in my mind together because I didn't even remember that.
Melded. Yeah, I think
Another guy that
All right. So
who knows if he's
what
bowling a full
are we
season.
winning if one of us wins?
The same thing that we didn't win last year.
Sick. Well, you guys
Dinner?
haven't won yet, so
it's getting
All right.
cold in here, ain't it?
Well, maybe we'll have to relook at the rosters and give an actual a real guess. All
But
right,
what
guys,
guess do you need? I mean, there's going to be rentals and trades, and
shut his mic off.
there's going to be so much excitement
He's been muted.
that each player is going to love to see and watch, and they're not going to have any connection to that guy because he's already on the league.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching tonight. It is time for us to go bowling. It is late.
Make sure you add and drop people next year, Tom.
Don't forget to
Skip
like,
to
subscribe,
114.35.
click the bell to get alerts from the channel.
Oh, he wouldn't see that because I'm already can't skip if it's already past it.
You're an idiot. Email us at downlanepod@gmail.com. If you can't watch live on Facebook or YouTube, you can always download and listen via your favorite podcast service. Thank you guys for chatting with us tonight and hanging out. I forget what I said already. I think that was it.
Make sure to like, subscribe, and make sure to tune in every 7 p.m.
make sure
Central Eastern
to
Time.
check out our Etsy shop that has
Has
no
not
new
existed.
clothing on it.
Yeah.
I need to make a shirt.
Okay. Thank you, Jack Scaccia, proprietor of Town and Country Lanes, for having us here tonight.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Brad.
Good show tonight. Anthony, good rant. Solid Kyle rant.
You're welcome.
Thank
I
you, my
saved your
family,
voice.
Stephanie, Zach, and Ethan.
Jan Brad.
We will see you all next week. This is Downlane Podcast.